fields. In the past, we have tried to be activists. We have tried to change things by force, by using what we called was power. How do we move from being an activist, whether it is in finance or politics or medicine or biodiversity or permaculture or any of the fields, to being a sacred activist? And what would that mean to you?
I think I like the term activator rather than activist. To me, an activist is somebody out there with a little anger and a sign and bringing out the worst in themselves and the people that they're demonstrating against. So I like the word activator, and that's to be a catalyst involved in presenting yourself in a very meaningful, conscious way concerning the situation and not being confrontational. I think history has shown many times, I guess Gandhi, Martin Luther King, others have been, the activators. They were activists to a degree, but they were very peaceful people. And I think that's what's needed today. If we're going to show and be an example for others to follow, is that we have to be conscious, we have to be peaceful, and we can't be sign in the face people. We have to be just cool, calm, and collected.
And you were talking about creating these new forms of exchange rather than money. How do you see people coming together in that? Do you think that we will just meet up with those people, or do you think it is through conversation and introducing smaller structures within larger structures that we start to then grow?
Oh, it's absolutely within conversation. And most people are asleep in this country. It's one I'm most familiar with. And I think our job is to awaken them. And we do that by example. When they see us, when they hear us. And I was at a meeting last Saturday on the new economy where we spent a half day talking about it. And a couple of people came up to me afterwards and really liked what they heard me say. And I said, well, that's why I'm here, to present myself as a conscious person concerning the new economy. I don't have all the answers, but we're here sharing that. And I think that's what's needed, is to be the example. And I think that works.
Wonderful. When we look at the world, Gary, how did none of these even really matter unless we take care of the planet? How does politics not matter, medicine not matter, banking not matter, anything matter unless we take care of the planet?
Well, the planet pretty much nurtures us. We breathe this oxygen in this little skinny little level where there's a little topsoil under us and some atmosphere that we breathe. It's extremely important. And it's really hard to see how anything could matter if all of a sudden we were out in space at minus something degree with no oxygen. It'd be kind of hard to live.
So what's the greatest thing for someone that has not been conscious about the earth or have any knowledge of what even permaculture is? What is one or two or three of the greatest things that they could do in their lives that would just assist in this way? Simple things.
Well, one would be to listen. You could listen to the earth, you could observe, you could look, and you could really love what you see. So often we're at a place where we say, oh, this is really broken, and you look at all the negative aspects of it. But if you just sit with the earth and put your fingers in the ground and just say that this is better than you can ever imagine, this is just wonderful. And then, from that point, you can ask to be guided in how you can make it even better. And you will be guided in how you can make it even better. And there's lots of ways, and we don't know all the answers at all. But if we just start with something like oxygen, get more oxygen into the soil in our gardens, and eat the plants that come from there, and mineralize, and just start seeing how nature works, and just this engine of productivity that just goes all, and just running by itself, and jumpstart that. We're really just jumpstarting it, and then we can put up a hammock and have a mint julep and watch it work.
That sounds good. Kathleen, I'd like to talk about community. You've been part of different communities that are doing different wonderful things between the Salvation Army or when you went to Scotland or part of the Quaker community.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about how to not only have the community, but to sustain the community.
Well, I think people have been living in the community since the beginning of time. But when people intentionally go into community today, I think a lot of experiences occur where that you create biodiversity within your own little group, wherever it is, you know. So the communities I've been involved in have been eco-villages, mainly. They've run organic farms, they've grown their own food because this was something that was important to that specific group of people. What was interesting is they had to buck a system, the old paradigm. So like if you want to start a co-housing community and there's a memo of understanding amongst the people who want to join that community, you can't go to a bank and get a loan with that memo of understanding. They don't have a way to hold it. So they look for ways, so how can we do what we want to do? So for instance, this community got a bank loan with a regular developer, and then they had everybody that joined the community sign this memo of understanding. It's not legally binding, but it seemed only fair to say this is what we're wanting to do. Is this what you want to do? And if it is, welcome, you know, and let's do it together. So I think that there's a lot of activity going on Earth where the old systems are still there and they're still at play. They still have a lot of power, material goods, authority, but there's a whole other level that's starting to do things on the fringe or outside the box. I mean, I heard a news story today. This is a little different, but it is about a community, and it's about death row in Texas. The guards have been complaining that because the death row victims are in solitary confinement with no audio stimulation, no visual stimulation, nothing, that they're getting, their behavior is getting very aberrant, and it's very hard to control them. So they put them in solitary, because they have nothing to lose. They're going to lose their life anyway. So the guards are saying, we can't keep doing this. Now, I wish the guards were saying that out of human kindness. Where does that, why are we forgetting that in some ways? But what they're saying it out of, as I understand it, is their job is too darn hard to keep maintaining this way. So let's give these people that are confined like this more, whatever, like I said, human kindness. So there's even a group of people there that is trying to work outside a system, or within the system, but kind of going around the fringes. And I just see that in all these little news things I hear, or in the communities I see springing up. There's a school that wants to rent from us. These are two teachers who have created their own curriculum, have designed their own little school. It's called the 9th Street School, and they might rent from us. And you know, we asked them some questions like, well, of course, are you licensed teachers? And they are. But, you know, they're not going to have any, there's not a lot of rules and regulations, but they're just doing it. They're just, like no excuses, no plans. They have a plan, but they're getting together, and they're just wanting to have a different type of experience for children to have in being taught outside a regular school system. So I think that groups of people, when they come together, like Margaret Mead said, can really accomplish that.
Thank you for some of those examples. Yes.